Fernandez watched as the wind with raindrops hit the viewing window of their monster car. He smiled. This was the nickname among the people of these armored monsters used by the cartels. They were returning from another mission. Nothing difficult. Asked another village, he land of which his cartel needed. Fernandez looked back. El Hammer and El Diablo, the newcomers to the cartel, laughed and made fun of each other, young, hungry, and cruel like wild coyotes. They pleasantly surprised him in the village by showing heartlessness during the execution of the villagers. These are the kind of killers the cartel needs. And not like this. Fernandez's thoughts were interrupted by a dark figure standing in the thicket of the forest through which they were driving. Because of the rain, he could not see the figure. He thought that it was strange to see a person in this part of the forest. After all, there is nothing around for many kilometers except trees and creatures living in them. He thought for a moment. He remembered the execution in the village, the curse of the old woman who screamed when he cut off her son's head. Fernandez laughed so hard that his henchmen immediately fell silent and looked at him with uncomprehending eyes. Curse! If such a thing existed in this world, then Fernandez himself and all the bloodthirsty bastards in the world would have suffered long ago in the darkness of hell. He stepped on the gas pedal, trying to pick up speed on this heavy machine. At home, a hot girl and tequila of the highest quality were waiting for him. He needed rest. And while Fernandez was thinking about the figure of his girl, about her hips and tequila sticking between her juicy breasts, a hit to the right side of his monster truck was so strong that the metal bent inward, pushing the vehicle in the direction of the forest. When he opened his eyes, the car was on fire. El Hammer and El Diablo were nowhere to be seen. Despite the pain in his ribs and his dizzying head, he began to move, trying to get out of the overturned car. Getting out of the car, he examined the scene of the accidents. He found his Sicarios, rather what was left of them. Only the body. There were no heads. Fernandez slowly began to take out his Glock, looking around. The machine gun remained inside the car. He did not want to follow it with his back to the enemy. He could distinguish from his own experience a body with a severed head and a body that lost its head in an accident. The rain intensified, preventing him from aiming, and then he saw the enemy walking through the rain in his direction. The figure was blurring in his eyes. It seemed to him that the neck of this man was incredibly long, and he walked in his direction as if he was drunk. Fernandez gritted his teeth, got angry with himself for unnecessary thoughts, and pulled the trigger. He pulled the trigger until the clip was empty. All the shots hit the dark figure, causing him to stumble in his step. But to Fernandez's horror, the figure did not fall, did not stop, and continued to go in his direction. In a panic, Fernandez thought to run away into the forest, but the voice inside him reasonably told him that he had nowhere to run. He was angry with himself, with his own fear. He knew that he was unlikely to die in silence, in old age, surrounded by loved ones. And with these thoughts, he put the gun in the holster and took out a knife that had served him for many years. With the knife in his hand, he ran towards the stranger, despite the pain in his body. Approaching the figure and seeing it, he felt fear rising up his spine. It was that boy from the village, the grandson of the old woman who screamed curses while she was being burned alive. His long neck turned out to be a spine, and his gait was so strange because Fernandez remembered that before cutting off his head, he broke his legs. He froze, raising his head, looking into the empty eyes of a monster that should not exist. His hand, like his body, froze, unable to move. A scream rose from his throat, but the monster, with monstrous speed, jumped toward him. The scream got stuck in his throat, along with his tongue. The rain kept falling. A lone figure limped into the forest thicket, holding 3 heads in its hands.